Good morning. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller, and today I'm going to be doing the second half of my What Solds, which would be last weekend, April 22nd through the 24th. What do I say? Sales are okay. I'm just going to keep saying that. Sales are okay. Are they where I want them to be? No. But I can pay my bills, and that's all that matters at this point. Still doing a whole lot of cross listing. This is my new goal. I am going to get as many listings as I can on at least 2 platforms. So this morning I spent a little while using List Perfectly to cross list 36 clothing items that I had not put on Posh yet. I've said this before, everything starts on eBay for me. And then from there, I usually try to wait a few days after I list stuff to cross list it, just in case it is one of those items that sells very quickly for me. Usually I don't get to it for a couple of weeks before I'm actually cross listing that stuff. I just hit 9,000 listings. I've got a lot to cross list. So I'm going to try to make a concerted effort this month to get, I don't know, I would say 50 a day between any of the platforms. Like I said, right now I'm putting all of my clothing onto Posh, and only Posh. I don't plan on putting that anywhere else. And then I just kind of go through my listings. A lot of my plush I'm putting on Mercari. A lot of my hard toys and stuff like that is going on Facebook Marketplace. And Etsy, I'm saving for my higher dollar vintage plush with a few things thrown in that I know are vintage. I'm leery about putting stuff on there that I'm not quite sure of the date. So unless it has a date on it, I've pretty much not been doing that. Unless, I can go and I see other people are saying it's from the 80s or 90s. I just don't want to put that account in jeopardy, because even though I don't have a whole lot listed there, it's been good for me. I've done quite well on there, given the limited number of listings I have over there. So that's the plan. That's my May goal. I'm still trying to do 30-ish listings a day on eBay. I am getting very backlogged on getting stuff listed. Robert's going to be helping me quite a bit more this summer, since our co-op has already ended, which he teaches on Mondays. And then, he'll do regular homeschool with RJ, and then he'll be able to help me more often. So I'm hoping to get a lot of my death pile and all of this new stuff that's coming in. We are having such amazing hauls every weekend so far. Even yesterday, I went out by myself and there were 3 subdivision sales. The first one, I left. The roads were too narrow. They were so spread out, and there was no sign saying, okay, yes, this road has a yard sale on it. You would drive up and you just have to turn around and come back. And then it was lots of those cul-de-sacs, and you could get turned around. I have no sense of direction. I would get turned around and I think I've already been this way. So I just left. It was just not worth it for me. But then I went to another subdivision sale. Quite a few houses. At almost every stop I bought at least one thing. But usually almost all of them it was one thing. But that's all right. I didn't spend a whole lot yesterday, and then I decided to get home early-ish so I could get some other stuff done. All right, so I have sales for eBay, no Facebook, 1 Bonanza, an Etsy, some Mercari, and 1 Posh item sold over the weekend. It's a clothing item. I just wanted it. I'm going to go ahead and show that clothing item just so that I have a Posh tab up. Robert usually looks at the tabs when he's making up the thumbnail and everything to say which platforms got sold on. So that's why I'm putting it up there. I did actually My largest sale for last weekend was a clothing item on eBay, so I will be showing that one. I don't normally show a lot of our clothing sales. I did sell 10 items over the weekend, 10 clothing items on eBay, and then just the one sale on Poshmark. So clothing is picking up. I'm behind. I probably have 150 or more listings that I haven't gotten to that are clothing. I just kind of let them pile up, and then on the days that I don't have my 30 for eBay, I'll go grab a few of the clothing items and get them listed, but I've got to get them listed because I want to get them on Posh too. All right, let's just go ahead and get it started. If you see me looking this way, it's because I have a little board here, because what eBay says something sold for isn't what it actually sold for. So I'll just keep checking my board to make sure it is saying what it is. I had 2 viewer sales over the weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This first item was a Spin Master Paw Patrol vehicle with character of Chase. And Sharon, thank you very much. She bought this for her grandson. Love Paw Patrol. Next item, Robert picked this up at an estate sale, I want to say last weekend, maybe. It was a Williamsburg, Virginia, kind of almost like a stained glass coffee mug, but not really stained glass. It just it was the clear mug and just a very colorful pictures of Williamsburg. It sold for best offer of $10. And usually you're going to see, I sold quite a few items that are whole dollars, and usually that tells me that I sent an offer on them. I try, like this one, it was on sale for $13.75. I may have received an offer for it, but sometimes I'll just go ahead and send out an offer, and it varies on what I pick, but I try to pick a whole number, and that way I can kind of gear how my offers are doing. This next item is Boyd's Bears, Laverne and Shirley, Bestest Friends. It sold for best offer of $8. This is American Greetings. I pick up all plush. It doesn't matter. This is probably one of those that's definitely in my bread and butter, with probably very few exceptions that it's not bread and butter. But Mother's Day's coming. This one did have its paper tag. It said, love you, Mom, on the pillow, and it sold for best offer of $8 also. This is FAO, just a 8-inch unicorn plush from 2013. It sold for $11.91. And again, I don't do free shipping, so when I say it sold for $11.91, the buyer also paid shipping. This is Levi's 501. This is my big sale for the weekend. Levi's 501 button fly men's jeans. They were white and they were cotton, and I knew they were vintage, and they sold for best offer of $50. This is Aldi. It's a Penguin Lovey. I hadn't found too many Aldi plush, but when I do, they usually sell relatively quickly. It's probably because it's such a limited release of these items, because they only come out of the Aldi store, and not everybody has an Aldi store next to them. I usually sell them quite quickly. This one sold for $11.91. Kelly Toy, a brand I pick up all the time. I think it's a good quality. This is just a round, kind of schnauzer looking dog, 8 inches tall. It sold for $9.15. These are Greenbrier. They were called Fuzzy Friends. That is a Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar, one of them, toy. Robert picked these up at the bins, all of them, one time, the first time he ever went to St. Louis before we started going there on the regular basis. And I was like, why? Don't buy these. They're just very poor quality, not very pretty, to be honest. But he said, look up comps on lots. And sure enough, they sell decently as a lot. So they've been listed probably 6 months or so. I took a best offer for $15 on them. This is Crown and Ivy Baby Blanket. Said, thank heaven for little girls. I'm pretty sure I picked it up at a consignment sale. So I probably paid $2 or $3 for it. And it sold for $18.35. This is Boyd's Bear. I picked this up recently at an estate sale. Probably paid $1 or $2 for it. It was one of the larger bears. They're heavy. So almost, the larger ones will never be first class just because of the size of it. So I don't even try to consider putting them in bubble mailers or poly bags because you might as well use the free priority shipping stuff. That's just my 2 cents on stuff, especially when it's going to be over £1 no matter what you do. Save your stuff that you've paid for. This Boyd's Bear sold for $13.75. Now we went to an estate sale a couple of weeks ago. Didn't find a whole lot there, and then I noticed a bookcase that had a whole lot of CDs on it. My recollection is they were either $2 and half price for one, or they were $1 and half price for 50 cents. But I ended up buying probably 25 hard rock, metal, rock bands, CDs. I didn't know any of them. Almost all of them, I just used the eBay app and scanned the barcode, and it told me that, you know, it definitely wasn't going to be something that was going to be, you know, $3.99 free ship. So I grabbed any that seemed like they were reasonable, and then I've just been listing a few at a time, probably like 5 of them. The thing also with these is when I process them, I always take a small square of the small bubble wrap and stick it inside the case. That way you make sure that the CD doesn't come loose in shipping. I had that happen to me one time. It was actually sealed, so there wasn't anything I could do about it. But I just decided I'd start putting a small little square in there, and hopefully that would be enough to keep the CD from popping off and getting damaged in shipment. So that's my 2 cents on that also. This was called Heavy Metal Hits of the 80s. It sold for $8.75 best offer. And I sold, there's going to be, I think, 3 on here, and I've sold several since. So they are selling very quickly for me. Definitely something I'm going to start watching for more. I always have watched for cassettes and CDs, but definitely if you see the hard rock stuff, the heavy metal stuff, take the time and scan it. This was from the high bid online estate sale that we won I think it was May of last year. And it was actually something that had been in the car, so it was one of the first things I ever listed from there, and it's finally sold. Almost a year later, it sold for best offer of $9. It was a vintage Kenner Roto drawing, like kind of like a spirograph, but you ended up making animals and stuff, zoo animals. Box had lots of issues. Another CD that we sold from that same estate sale, it ended up selling for $10.07. This was my second viewer sale, so thank you very much, Katrina. She told me in her notes to me that she bought this for her sister for her birthday. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. She bought 2 items. She bought this Tweety Bird coffee mug and this Tweety Bird. Her sister loves Tweety, and she paid $14.62. Katrina is very active. She's always coming into the lives and commenting on a whole lot of my videos, so I really, really appreciate you, Katrina. This I picked up at the Goodwill bins in St. Louis. This was a Cabbage Patch Kids vintage outfit. I did include the shoes. I contemplated separating them, but I decided to put them together. I think the shoes had some discoloration on them also. Ended up selling it for best offer of $15. Definitely watch for vintage Cabbage Patch clothes. Here's another one of the CDs. This one ended up selling for best offer of $11. I'm all about the offers because some days it seems like the offers are the only thing that are selling. This is from the Scarborough collection, which is a JCPenney brand, large 14-inch bear. and he sold for $15.14. Yep. Thought I lost my place on my board. This is Blankets and Beyond. This is a blanket, not a lovey. It had gray owls and elephants on it, and it sold for a best offer of $8. This is Animal Alley. It's a 22-inch hanging monkey. It sold for $9.15. A lot of bread and butter, but you know what? That's what's paying my bills. That's what's paying my bills. And you know, for a lot of these, I buy them at yard sales for $1 or less, or I'm at the bins where it's, you know, $1.29 a pound. So it's probably, you know, 50 or 60 cents for many, if not less. This brand was called the Peanut Shell, and this was a bear, cute knit with the orange glasses on. It sold for $11.91. So definitely keep your eyes. I always pick up stuff plush that are knit. One of my little quirks. I like to pick them up, and a lot of times they are something in my bread and butter, but once in a while I get a nice surprise. This is a Build-A-Bear Husky Wolf Dog. Those are the keywords I always use. This is one of the minis that goes with a mama, and there's a magnet in the bandana around his neck, and you can supposedly, you know, attach it to the mama's mouth that also has a magnet. But he sold for $8.23. Walmart. Love Walmart. This is a mint green bunny rabbit, 12 inches, and it sold for $10.07. Battery died. All right, next item is a Fisher-Price shake and go vehicle. I picked them up. You got to be careful with them. A lot of times they've stopped working. They're older. I don't know if they're still putting them out or not. This one was Tomater from Cars. He was from 2009. I ended up selling him for best offer of $9. They're heavy. They're bigger than you think. And so he was already in the 1 pound price range for shipping. This next item is a Disney Cinderella hand puppet. It had the hard vinyl head and then a hand puppet body. It sold for $15.59. This is Wild Republic, a chimpanzee plush, large, 20 inches. He sold for $16.51. These I picked up at the Goodwill bins in St. Louis. I spent a heck of a time looking for all of these in a bin. These are Playmobil Christmas Nativity, Animals and People. Not a complete set, but it was a nice variety. I ended up selling it for $36.75. And then the last item on eBay was this Great Courses DVD set. I tend to buy these anytime I find them, as long as they're like $1 or less on them. Some of them sell for quite a bit of money, especially if they come with the book that came in the series. But it's just, I think most of them are college level, but I think I have seen some that aren't. This one was on nonverbal communication. It was a 2 DVD and the guidebook. And I paid $1 for them at an estate sale, and they sold for $11.91. But I have sold some in the $20s and $30. So definitely keep your eyes out for Great Courses. And it'll always have this little thing up here, this little flame. All right, the next few are my sales that were not on eBay. Bonanza, finally got another one. This was Manhattan Toys Rabbit Plush. It sold for $29.95. This was an Etsy order. It was a Kid Dimension, which is the brand, Kermit the Frog plush. It still had the cassette tape that went with him attached. He sold for $24. Pretty sure I picked him up at an estate sale for a couple of dollars. These are my Mercari sales. I had 3 of them. These are Mattel Sesame Street vehicle lot. There was 2 Cookie Monsters, but they were different. I know, 2 Oscars and then a Cookie Monster and an Elmo. I made small lots of them. This sold for $11 on Mercari. This was a Thai Pluffies Dangle Plush. It sold for $18. I know somebody had sent me a message saying that they had just sold theirs on Mercari for $24. I didn't go in there and check my price, and mine sold for $18. It didn't have its paper tag, which probably is why I decreased the price some. But I'm glad. I'm pretty sure he came from the Goodwill bin, so I have pennies in him. And then this is Fisher-Price Dora the Explorer Swiper Fox. He was one of the talking plush from 2001, and he sold for $19 on Mercari. And then Posh, my one and only clothing item for that, or my one and only item for the weekend. It was a pair of Lane Bryant skinny jeans, green, and they sold for $16. All right, so I am going to be working on several projects today. I have a video that I'm doing for Bolo Buddies that I finally went to the Goodwill bins and, you know, found the things that I needed. And then I have tons of stuff to get processed, so I need to do videos so I can get them processed. It's going to be a good week. I have a feeling. Good, productive week, right? That's all we all need to be thinking this way. Good, productive week. All right, get to work. Bye.